Tuning. We're tuning today. Hi, welcome back. If this is your second video with me, thank you for hanging in there during that first one. That was something. Today, we are going to talk about the application process. We're going to talk about interviewing, what my experience was like. Huge disclaimer for today's episode. This is all about my experience. This is not about how so-and-so got this weird phone call, or this is something that you should expect every single time. No, this is just what I went through, my personal experience. I will be giving tips and tricks that I learned, that I was told, that I read, that kind of helped me in my process, but I do not want you guys to get the idea that this is typical, because in all reality, there's no typical application process into the DCP, okay? Ultimately, your first step, the number one step into applying for the DCP is the big decision, the decision to apply for the DCP. For me, I always wanted to work at Disney ever since I was a little kid. Yes, I was that child. I went to Disney a lot. Don't judge me. No hating here. Come on. I always wanted to work there. I knew that I had such a great time as a kid, and I knew that I wanted to do that for other people. I wanted to bring that magic to other little kids, and honestly, other families. I don't care how old you are. Grandma, challenge accepted. I'm gonna make your freaking day. But I also took a storytelling in the theme parks class at Ohio University. We studied everything that Disney does, from storytelling in the actual attraction itself to the little tiny details that we don't really notice as park guests until it's made aware to you. That was kind of the final nudge for me. Once I really learned what Disney does and why they do it, I kind of decided that I really wanted to do it. Step 1.5 in deciding to apply to the DCP, you kind of need to be paying attention as to what time of the year it is that you're wanting to apply. So for instance, I knew right away that I wanted to go into the fall program. I'm a big Halloween, Christmas, and wine person. So for me, the fall works best because that falls during the Food and Wine Festival, Christmas, and Halloween. So that was a no-brainer for me. But the other thing is too, when it comes to fall versus spring, you do have the spring and the fall advantage programs. So fall advantage people, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, they get there around May-ish. They apply the same time as fall programmers do, but you get there sooner. You work through the summer and then you're there in the fall as well, potentially. Please, someone comment if I have that wrong. I would love to correct that. But from my understanding and interpretation, that is what I have seen generally. So actual step 2 of the process is actually sending in your application. What I did, I believe I subscribed. There's like a subscription that you can get for like Disney careers, and they send you out emails periodically whenever internships come up, or in this case, when the college program applications release. I highly suggest doing that because then you'll know right away when applications are sent out. I believe I had gotten an email and it had gone to my clutter, so I didn't apply for like another week because I saw it on a Facebook post and I was like, oh my god. So 1 week after the application's release is when I sent in my application. The application itself is bare bones. Your name, your email, you cannot screw up the application. I don't know how. There probably is a way, but I don't know how. So if somebody's been cut by the application, please let me know and we will have a hearty drink in your name. The number one tip I can give during application, this is when you rank your roles. I cannot stress this enough. Make sure you are very literal with your role selection. What I mean is, you will then rank. You'll get to a point in the application after you do the very normal stuff. You will rank the roles based on your interest. If you are not interested in a role, if any fiber of your being says, I don't want to do that, do not show any interest in it. Even if you want to go to Disney so bad, it's not worth it. Trust me. Point being, I only put down 3 roles, 3 cast roles, period, that I wanted to be a part of, that I had any interest in. First two were Boutique, Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique in the Pirate League, and Character Performer. Those were my most interested roles. And then in my second interested, it was like somewhat interest, I put as a character attendant. I got the character attendant role. If you show any interest in any role whatsoever, that gives them reason to potentially hire you there. So if you don't want to be a janitor at Disney World, but you're like, oh yeah, I want to go to Disney World, yeah, and you put somewhat interested, that gives them enough reason to hire you as a janitor. So be smart. If you seriously do not care, if you generally do not care, and you're just happy to be down there, I know a lot of people who are like that, then by all means, just put somewhat interested on all of them. That's fine. You're not gonna hurt my feelings. But I'm just saying, for those of you who are picky and those of you who are concerned about what role you get, I think this is something that you really need to pay attention to and do a lot of heavy research on the roles and what they do day in and day out. Just because a character attendant looks fun because I potentially get to walk around with the characters and hang out with the characters, doesn't mean that it's all that it's cracked up to be. So you need to go and look and really research and listen to other vlogs and do some background searching on these roles before you show any interest in them. Step number 3 comes shortly after you send in your application. At least for me, it did. I sent in my application that night. It was like 10 o'clock at night. I was like ready to go to bed, but I was like, I have to do this. So I sent it in, and overnight I got an email back saying, yes, we got your application. Here's your web-based interview, also known as your WBI. Your web-based interview, I cannot stress this enough. Again, be honest. They know exactly when you are putting in the answer because that's what they want you to hear. Honestly, if your gut answer doesn't sound like what you think they want you to hear, that's okay, because they want you to be honest with them. I have heard of people being cut here. I've known someone who was cut here. It was very unfortunate. I think it was more of one of those things where it was so late in the application process and there had already been so many people through that they just didn't have enough and they didn't get a high enough score. But this isn't something that you should be like freaking out about and preparing for necessarily. This is just something that they need to do to see what kind of personality you are and to kind of get an idea of, are you a good fit for this company? Just because you love Disney and you love the merchandise and you love the movies does not mean you are a perfect fit for working in the parks. I like to believe the best in people. I like to hope that everyone's going to be able to go to Disney and work at Disney, but ultimately it's not up to me, it's up to them. It's their park. Okay, so by this time I had already finished my web-based interview. I had finished my application the night before. About, I'd say around 2 a.m. It was probably generated. I'm 90% sure. I really hope that nobody's working that late at Disney. I got the email that I was going to do a phone interview. Now, mind you, I was moving pretty quickly through this process. I had sent in my application decently early in the grand scheme of things. I know a lot of people who didn't send in their application until about 4 weeks after applications went live, and that's when things kind of start to bog down because so many people are starting to apply all at once. So things are a little more slow. It's a little more sporadically timed. But again, this is just what I went through. I'm just trying to kind of give you guys an idea of what I experienced. So I got my phone interview email, and shortly after that, I scheduled it. Basically, you'll schedule them for about a week to 2 weeks out. It's whatever's most convenient for you. I highly suggest checking your schedule, triple checking your schedule. A lot, like an hour around there. Mine lasted about 30 minutes tops. I even think that's pushing it. It felt like an hour. It wasn't. It was about 20 minutes. But you want to make sure that you have time beforehand to sit down and take a breather. This is where it's nervous. This is where I was nervous for, I can't even tell you how long. I scheduled for about 2 weeks out from when I got that email, and it was horrifying. Just thinking about it every single day. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. It was torture. So what can you do to prepare for the phone interview? Okay, there are some really good things that we can do. So, number 1, don't freak out. Okay, 1, yay, it's really, really exciting. Yes, you got a phone interview. That's awesome. You made it to the big leagues, okay? This is where it happens. You have to take a breather because it's so easy to psych yourself out on these. And I know that you guys are awesome and I know that you all could work at Disney, but you also have to remember it's okay. It's gonna be okay. Whatever happens, happens, okay? You still have me. I love you. Part 2 of preparing for your phone interview. I wrote everything down, and not everything. You do not need to write paragraphs and do not write your life story, okay? They do not want to hear your life story. What I suggest is writing down specific examples of when you displayed traits of whatever roles you are interested in. They know, they have your entire profile up. Like, they know what roles you're interested in and which ones you're clearly not. And they're gonna ask you, you know, what about that role like entices you, or you can Google exactly what questions they'll ask for what role, and I highly suggest you do that. But the more examples specifically that you can state that you have experience in. For instance, I was actually a pageant queen for a little while, and I had experience dealing with my little miss. She always wanted to have her hair pulled up and we'd put her crown on her. And so when I was going through the phone interview, they asked, what hair experience do you have? And I was like, oh, well, specifically, I actually worked with little girls. I had little misses that I would do their hair before the parades. And so that kind of gives them something more to work on, more than you just being like, oh yeah, I really like to do hair and makeup. Okay, they can't do anything with that. So the more concrete examples that you can provide for them as to why that role is great for you, the more likely you're going to be able to get that role. Now, that being said, there are just some roles that you're probably going to want or that you're going to be asked about that you have no answer for, which comes into my cringeworthy part of this video. I bombed my phone interview. Bombed it. And the reason I bombed it was because I psyched myself out, as I tend to do all the time. Basically what happened was I put moderate interest for character attendant because I was like, you know what? I can do that. It's a little stressful of a role for me, but you know what? I'd love to still be involved with the guests and with the characters and the storytelling and the magic. I still wanted to do it. So we'd gone through how character performers have to go to an audition. I'll cover that in another video. We had gone over my experience with hair and makeup, and I knew it was coming. I had done research. I had talked to friends. I knew the question was coming of how do you handle when families have been waiting and waiting to see Goofy outside. It's sunny, they're hot, but Goofy needs to take a break. What do you do? I knew the answer in my head. I had done it a million times over. I bombed. I had no words. My mouth went dry, my tongue swelled. I'm pretty sure I started like nasty sweat down my face. It was just bad. Really bad. I somehow was able to kind of break it up by coughing and making the excuse that I needed a glass of water before finishing my broken up sentence. But ultimately, I pulled it together somehow, and I made some excuse that Goofy had a lunch date with Max before he went to school. That's what I came up with. And somehow that translated to this woman that I was fit to be a character attendant. I hope she's not watching this, because I was really intimidated by her. Okay, excuse the lighting change. It kind of decided to start storming in the middle of filming, so all my nice natural light went away. I apologize. So write down your interviewer's name. The second that they say it, they're gonna say it. They've done this before. It's really good to write down right off the bat so that you can use it later to kind of show that you've been kind of paying attention throughout this whole thing. I honestly kind of buttered my interviewer up a little bit. I asked her what her favorite Disney experience was while working in the Disney parks. She actually told me that she met Roy Disney. That's kind of cool. Make them feel good about themselves, because then that kind of shows that you're willing to go the extra mile for our potential guests. That kind of says a lot about Disney employees. This is not like you're working at McDonald's, people. You are going to have to make these people feel pretty special. And lastly, I cannot stress this enough, do practice questions. Look up what questions are often asked for the roles that you are most interested in, and then have a friend or a family member or somebody ask them to you, and you provide, again, go through the steps, provide a specific example of when you were able to do that same kind of task or handle that same kind of situation. So that basically covered it, for phone interview at least. Step 4 is a long, hard step. It is waiting. It is the most awful, tormenting, horrible thing anybody could ever do to a person, and I'm kind of salty that Disney does this to you before they hire you, because it is awful. I am pretty sure I waited about 3 weeks. I might be wrong on that. I did my phone interview. I cried right after it. I called my friend who was in the Disney college program, and I cried. I was like, I screwed that up so bad. She's like, you're fine. You did great. I know you answered everything right. It'll be fine. I cried. I was like, I'm gonna be inclined, like, before I know it. Like, it's happening. The worst decision I made, and I suggest this for everybody, it is not smart. Do not do it. I don't care how easy it is. Do not add yourself to the Facebook page. It is torture. It is absolute torture. You do not want to be added to the Facebook page until after you are accepted. Don't do it. It was the worst thing ever. I would sit there on weekends. I would be with my fiance, and I'd just be sitting there scrolling on my little phone, seeing all these people who are else being, accepted, and then worse, seeing inclined, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm next. Like, do not do that to yourself. That's not fun. Don't do that. Of course, my friend had already told me this, and I was stupid and did it anyway. I'm telling you, do not follow my example, because it was awful. Made it that much worse. Yeah, don't do it. But so you have to wait. It is an awful, tormenting process. But you will eventually get an email, and it will say either congratulations, you are accepted, you are in, yay, or it will be inclined. For those of you who are no longer with us. Cheers to you, friends. For those of you who've been accepted, I'm so happy to be in the Disney College Program family with you. I hope that I get to see you soon, 27 days to be exact for my check-in date. Those of you who are on the fence, thinking that you want to apply, spring applications are coming up at the end of August. As soon as I know specific dates, I'll probably post about those sometime soon. If you guys have any hesitations about applying, I seriously think that you should just go ahead and do it. You'd rather apply and get into the program than not apply and wish that you had. Check with your colleges and universities before you do. Sometimes colleges take these as credits, other times they don't. For me specifically, I graduated this past spring. Disney does allow up to 6 months after graduation for those who want to apply after. You can still take the classes there. We'll go over that later. So you can either take a semester to a year off or wait till after. But double check and make sure before you take off classes that your college or university does accept them as college credits. So yeah, guys, if you guys have any other questions about my process, if there was something more specific that you'd like me to elaborate on, please comment. I do pay attention to that. And I do want to reach out and help you guys. Like I said, my number one goal for all this is to help you, help you understand what I went through, help you understand what you might be going through. And And yeah, that's all I have for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being so patient with the weather. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great week. Cheers!